So if you're not clear on what you want or how you want to progress, then you could end up down a random path, and then in 10 years you're kind of left wondering how you even got there. Hello, and welcome to Not Your Forever Job, the show that helps you get clear and confident in your career so you can get the life and the job that you truly want. I'm Hayley Loren, a career coach, award-winning engineer and science presenter. And today, it is the final episode of season 2, and I want to leave you with 3 tips to progress in your career. Because, come on, it's safe to say that we all want to move forward, and it might be that you fear not achieving success or kind of wasting or running out of time to progress. Or you might kind of worry about being overlooked and not getting more responsibilities. These are all very normal fears, and I'm guessing that you're a pretty driven person and you take pride in the work that you do and that you want to be able to progress forward and create a career on your actual terms, both financially and fulfillment wise. So if you have any of these fears, or you're in a situation right now where you feel you're not progressing or you feel like you're moving slowly, then these 3 tips will really help you. So let's get stuck in, grab a notepad and remove any distractions if you can. So the first tip to progress in your career is to get clear on what and why you want to progress. So this might sound quite simple, but the thing is that very often people can be unclear about how they want to progress and what it even means to them. So there's the obvious elements like money and more responsibility, but you need to be even clearer than this. And when you're crystal clear on how you want to progress, it means you can create a strategic plan of actually how to get there. If you're not clear, then essentially you're letting the company you're in or the bosses or other people decide where you need to go. And this means you're not in the driver's seat of your own life. So for example, in engineering, chartership is a route that many people follow, and it kind of becomes this expectation. And sometimes people follow this route because it's just what you do. Knowing whether chartership is actually something you even want to do yourself is important. And there's probably so many other examples that are similar to this. So if you're not clear on what you want or how you want to progress, then you could end up down a random path, and then in 10 years, you're kind of left wondering how you even got there. So there's questions like, do you want your boss's job someday? Do you want to get management experience? Do you even want to progress within the company you're at? And then you need to be thinking about why you want it. Why do you want to become a manager? Why do you want more responsibility in a particular area? Is it because you've learned everything in your current job and you're doing that like an absolute badass already and you're ready for a challenge? Is it because you've done some work in a particular area of the business and you'd love to do more? Is it because you want to be able to help more people or to be able to support the people around you? Now, the thing is that notice whether there's any thoughts in your mind here like, well, I should be at this level by now, or I need to manage someone, or I'm falling behind, or other people have progressed and I haven't. These sorts of thoughts actually hold you back from progression because they're coming from a negative place. And if you're able to turn these thoughts around to think, well, how you can actually help other people, how you can contribute, and how what you learn can impact others in a positive way, this is a stronger reason for progression, and it's more likely to drive you further. And this is why it's a fundamental part of the coaching I do, because understanding your why will help you to become more confident and certain that you're following the right path for you. Now, if you're struggling with kind of knowing your why and you want to progress, or you want to dig deeper into understanding what's driving you, then check out episode 2, which is how to find fulfillment and purpose, and also episode 3, which is how to decide your career direction. Okay, so tip number 2 is get clear on why you haven't progressed yet. So a lot of the times we can feel things are moving slowly, or you get passed over, but you don't really know why, and you may feel disheartened or jealous or even a little bit resentful, which is all completely understandable. Now, we can feel all of these things without even knowing why you haven't been able to progress yet. You kind of allow yourself to kind of wallow in that negative space without taking action to find out why and to understand why you haven't progressed yet. And I don't mean go storming into your boss's office to complain. I mean carefully and compassionately trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And it might be that there aren't any opportunities in your company right now. If things are tough, they can only give you the work that they actually have available. And this is a difficult part of working for another company. And to be honest, it's why I started my own business and why I coach and present, because otherwise, you're kind of on the whim of another company and other people doing well. And this is something you don't have much control over. But if that's the reason why, then that's not really anything negative or personal against you as an individual. It just might be that you need to move somewhere else to get the kind of progression that you're looking for. But it might also be because your boss feels you don't have the appropriate skills yet. And if this is the case, it is their job to support and help you to get there. Now, coming from a STEM background and working in engineering, I'm fully aware that there are many companies out there who do not support or train their staff effectively. And if you're in one of those companies, then I really feel for you, and I completely understand how you feel. And if you're not getting the right support, and if they're not helping you to become someone that is able to get that progression, then really you have two choices. Either you take control of what you need to learn and the gaps that you actually need to fill and make it happen, as in you go to the people in your business who make the decisions and you ask them directly for support, obviously in a very strategic and carefully thought out way. Or if you've already done this and nothing has happened and you're like, Hayley, I've already done this, what do I do? Then to be honest, it might actually be time to leave. And I recommend that you listen to episode 7, Is It Time for a Job Change? Because this episode will actually help you figure out if it may be time to leave your job. And there may be many, many other reasons why you haven't yet progressed. A big one is that the decision makers are actually too busy. They may be so overloaded that they've not even thought about your progression fully. And maybe your boss is someone who is amazing when you actually manage to pin them down in a meeting. But when it comes to actually following through on the promises and support, then they end up letting you down, or they might not even, to be honest, give a shit. So some bosses just don't care and they're kind of there to do the work and that's it. And these bosses, they're not leaders. They're bosses, but they're not leaders. And those are two very different things. They are basically a walking example of how not to lead. And actually, you can learn a lot from that. So you can improve and become a better future manager and future boss yourself by learning from the mistakes of other people. Okay, so tip number 3 is make it happen. So here's the thing. You are the only person that should be in the driver's seat of your career, not your boss or the company you work for, and certainly not your family or society, only you, okay? And if you don't feel like you're in the driver's seat, then it's time to make it happen. You need to make it happen. Because you can't just sit around and wait to be handed promotions and opportunities. You need to make it happen yourself. And there are 2 main ways that you can do this. So I've got your back here, don't worry. I'm not just going to send you off into the abyss being like, go do it. So the first thing that you can do is to kind of step up in your existing company. So if your boss is really, really busy and there are ways that you can actually help them, or if somebody has quit or is away and there's kind of a bottleneck in the work, then you can take the initiative and actually do some of that work. And a lot of the time you need to start helping before you're even told, and you need to start doing the work before you're even giving the promotion. So depending on the dynamic and culture of your company, obviously you don't want to, rub anyone up the wrong way, but stepping up means using your initiative. I don't mean say yes to everything. I just want to make that clear. You need to be strategic here. And if you've got your eye on a particular role, then how can you prove that you have what it takes to do that role? So I've seen